start with item number 2, routine business, approval of the May minutes.
I will move to approve our minutes.
Second.
Klein hands moves, Ms. Verdon seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. The June claims.
So we don't have anything above $3,000 this month, which is pretty odd. So we're just asking for the approval of the June claims.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. London and Mr. Leonard. Motion and seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. No old business unless you want to say something about the loader.
Oh, yeah. So we, as you guys approved, listed our old track loader with Mince and Dick. It did go for $35,000 and we will receive $31,500. So I guess there's some buyer's fees. I don't know if that's the right word.
Fees.
Seller's fees. There you go.
Bookie fees.
Yep. Something. But we haven't received the funds yet. That just happened kind of the end of last week. So that's good news.
Very nice.
That's more than we probably would have gotten on a trade.
Yes.
We're trying to sell it on our own and waiting.
Maybe not. I guess you never know. You never know.
We tried our hand a little at Gov Deals to try to get rid of the some of the equipment from the commercial cardboard program that Rumpke didn't want to buy. We haven't been real successful at Gov Deals. I know Brian Burton said they've used it before, but we didn't hardly get any bids on balers that we listed there. So Mince and Dick might be a better option for us, just generally. So.
Okay. Item number 4, reports.
Yeah, so we'll start with the tonnage report. So for the CD site, in May, we had 10 tons, 191 tons for the year. We don't have a lot of projects, so the tonnage there is kind of slow. At the landfill, we had 10,285 tons in May, 46,313 for tonnage in 2026. Out of county, we had 21.83 tons from the Edinburgh transfer station, 246 tons from the Edinburgh residential route, and then we had 2,303 tons from out of county in May. So that brings us to 10,294 tons of out of county in 2026. You'll see at the bottom of the tonnage report that we've put the recycle pad numbers on there. So for the recycle pad, we had 1,078 tons for May, and that is just the city's tonnage and then our location. And we had, just average users. So those numbers are kind of looking strong for 2026. So that's all the tonnage numbers I have for you. I'll move on just to some updates. So our CD site operator, who also runs our yard waste site, he completed IDM landfill training. So we have 3 staff members who have landfill operator training. Myself, our operations manager, and our CD site operator. So we're keeping up to date with those trainings. We did receive our 3rd tire grant, and it is fully executed. So we are accepting at the landfill up to 6 tires per resident for free. So that's happening. We've sent out the press.
How long does that last?
Until the $10,000 runs out. But it has been for the past 3 years an annual opportunity to apply for the 10,000. We have been awarded it each time. So we're hopeful that this will continue. So it'll probably go through
About 6 months.
Yeah.
Because we have a monthly pickup now, so, and it runs about $1,500 every time they come pick it up.
Okay. Good to know.
Is there a recycling market for old tires?
Well, they chop them up and they use them
For
in,
asphalt?
well, that, but they also like use them in turf,
Okay, like it.
like the little pebbles.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are some uses for it, so, we use Liberty Tire Recycling out of Indianapolis, they're pretty big, and I think they have their hands in all of that. Otherwise, we did demolish the old education center at the landfill, so that is down, helps to reduce some of our costs since we, aren't really using it. Older farmhouse building that we use for education, but in the absence of an educator, really doesn't get used. As well, just want to keep you up to date, the county did form a must committee. So it's made up of different municipalities. And we were asked to be on that committee, so I will participate as necessary on that committee. So it's good for us to be involved.
Who formed that?
County council,
Leah Byers.
Oh, okay.
yes. And then I would like to introduce our office manager. This is Leah. If you call in, you're probably gonna get Leah. We're hoping to get to the point where she has the appropriate access with IT for scheduling meetings. So you might see her face or hear her calling you when we're trying to schedule committee meetings moving forward. So,
I'll be the one bothering you.
yep. And that's all I have unless you guys have any questions.
Okay, great. Foresee financial report.
So revenue for May was $631,948.50. Year to date, we are at $1,951,125.52. So compared to May of last year, we're up $741,818.63 year to date. Expenditures, we had $361,293.09. Year to date is $1,739,508.38. So we are up in revenue compared to expenditures by $211,617.14 year to date. General fund budget balance at the end of May was $3,891,406.30. So we have 69% of our budget left. The general fund cash balance is $3,120,209.83. The general fund reserve investment balance is $1,115,406.37. Rainy day fund is still at $273,806.85. And then our post-closure balance is $2,918,262.30. Total of all funds is $7,427,685.35.
I have a quick question, and we probably talked about this in previous years, but so why is the interest for the rainy day fund not staying in rainy day? It's credited there.
What do you mean?
But you've got interest earned in Fund 102, but Fund 245, it doesn't show any interest month to month.
So the rainy day fund is part of our general fund.
So it's not a separate fund?
It's not a separate.
That's where the advisor took their commission this quarter. They just took it all.
So in the actual bank account, it's just one.
Yeah.
but Document, reporting wise, it's segregated out.
When I say it earns interest, it's just as general account as a whole.
So the rainy day, so how does the rainy day fund balance grow at year end? What gets washed in there? Anything?
any remainder funds and what,
It's
10%.
10% of the, whatever, the unencumbered balance. At the end of
But
the year.
does the interest stay in that account too?
It stays in the general
It
fund,
does.
yes.
No.
No, it does not. What she's saying is it does not. It never gets credited to
Okay.
that
In the
amount.
solid waste general fund.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. If we have a person in county government that would snatch it up if they could.
Yeah, we're separate, so.
Okay,
My question was,
is it, you wanna break it out, Tony? Is that what you're gonna say?
no, I was going a
I'm
different
sorry,
way.
go ahead. remember.
No, I understood that to be just, they don't credit it to the fund, it just stays in the general, it's credited to the general fund interest earned.
Yeah,
My question was with regard to expenditures versus income. You said our, income went up in comparison. My question was, did we just have fewer expenses? Or did we actually have higher income?
Part of that is there's a few companies that was behind on payments. So it went into May's revenue.
and Shelley's been awful hard on me. I think she thumbs the scale every time I cross it. She always charges me for more than I've got.
So you're saying it's just an accounting
Just the timing.
timing?
Timing.
Okay.
County timing.
I'd say I mean, we have had a little uptick on tonnage, but most of it is from where we've finally collected on some accounts that hadn't paid.
The tipping fees were substantial, were almost a third of the year paid.
Michael, can we go back to the mayor's question about interest? If one of our goals is to build that rainy day fund, and we struggle every year to put enough in it, why don't we keep the interest in that fund? That's a way of doing it without any additional state oversight. The interest can certainly stay in the funds,
Right.
I would think.
Yeah, we just have to break out the rainy day bin from the general so that you can capture what interest is growing in just that.
Right.
But we're
section of the
limited,
budget.
we're limited how much we can put in that, correct?
Correct.
But that would be a way to put another 40,000, it's gotta be 40 grand. It's not?
10% of 270, 3,000 would be 27,000.
No, but I mean the interest, the
Right,
rainy day
right.
fund.
Well, the interest that you would earn on that portion, if it's just in a general savings, we might get 1%. So that'd be
But
about
it's not in
27.
general savings, it's in a CD.
I can put it in a CD. if
Well, it ought to be in a CD.
It's all invested together. The question is, do we assign it to that fund or not? That particular amount of
No,
interest.
he's saying that it's not invested, it's just in our general checking
That,
account.
the rainy day is just in our general checking account. That's how it was set up whenever I was put in
And
there.
since we're not using it, that should be in.
Yeah,
some
that ought to be in CDs.
highest
Interest earning.
budget. Yeah.
Interest bearing.
Me to-
Yeah, I would, absolutely. I mean, because we can't use it.
Right.
We're not gonna use it
Yeah,
until we close the landfill.
Well, the rainy day, we could use any way we want to,
But, yeah,
but we
yeah.
choose not to.
I'm talking post-closure fund.
Right.
That's my brain's thinking post-closure.
The rainy day fund, like, we would know well in advance if we're gonna have to get into it, I'm assuming, right? We see the numbers every month.
And how much is in the rainy day?
He's got
273.
270,
Okay,
yeah.
then I wouldn't worry.
It's not a huge, well, but you're growing it, it should be that amount should be in an interest-bearing account.
And it is. It's only 1%.
Right, something that you can get a little bit better.
Yeah,
Um,
I see.
And we have in past years used the rainy day fund when we struggled through some of the revenues and expenditures not
Okay, my brain.
not matching. So we have tapped into it.
Oranges and yellows.
We don't want to tap into it.
So we borrow from it and then put money back?
We have in the past taken money from the rainy day fund.
Have we did it just for revenue timing, or is it because we actually need the dollars?
When we struggled through some of the financial issues a few years ago.
2-3 years ago,
Yeah.
You also took money out of the
I'm
reserve.
sorry,
too,
I got
didn't
us
you?
off track.
Yeah, we took it out of a few places.
So, but how about our post-closure fund? Is it invested in?
Yes,
Okay, all right.
yeah, there's 2,532,000 invested in CDs on that one.
Very good.
Yeah, so there at the bottom, you see, Larry, it made 12,000 this past month. Right. So it's staying post-closure.
Okay.
So if you, want to investigate possibly doing something with the rainy day fund, that's okay.
I can
It's up to
investigate.
your discretion.
Okay.
See if you can, I didn't take this.
I'm gonna say I'll talk to our bank guy and, cause I know at one time, new money, cause I'm also gonna have to open another account at the end of the year for the non-reverting capital fund. But I was told that new money right now earns better interest anyway compared to what we've got going on for the general account. Which actually right now, since we are a hybrid, cause I switched our accounts to a hybrid for the general fund, it now earns more interest than what it has in the past, and we don't have the user fees I got rid of fees. As long as we have a certain amount in there, depending on how much money's in there, then we end up earning more interest. So last month, I think we earned almost $6,000 compared to what we was earning between 2,000 and 3,000.
Nice.
But we have enough, you have enough money, you should be able to go to any bank in the area, even if you have to change. There's no reason that we should be making a lower interest rate just because we're an old customer.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Lee, can you hear?
Yes,
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, I would, if you don't mind investigating.
Will do.
When you're awake.
when I'm awake, you're correct.
Good. New business, onto the long-term landfill plan.
Yes, so with the tonnage changes that we've made, I sat down with John Shaw, our engineer, and we have kind of a newer landfill plan. That's included in your packet. It's lots of reading in your spare time. We are on average consuming 180,000 cubic yards per year. And we have 1,150,000 cubic yards remaining. So if you just look at the math there, we would need to do landfill construction in 2031. And that we like to construct while still having 12 to 18 months of available airspace. That's just like our safety window, so that if there are natural disasters, there are, weather factors that would greatly affect construction. So our next landfill style construction is 2031. And then after that, we would have construction in 2032, 2036, and 2038. And these are all moving targets. If the rate that we're using airspace, if any way we change that where it's greatly more or greatly less, that would affect that timeline. In 2028, we do plan to close about 3.5 acres of the west slope. That helps to reduce leachate that's generated, erosion, and then that also helps us to remove soil as a landfill contractor is working for that future cell 4S. That would be the next cell. In that plan, you'll also see in the next 3 years, so in 27, 28, and 29, we have split out landfill road work. So we will be repaving, repairing and repaving portions as well. The last cell that we built, there's a new road there, and we will as well pave that new section of road. So eventually, the road will go completely around the landfill. Today, it doesn't do that just because we haven't worked far enough across the site. But someday it will go completely around the site. the projects that we're looking for in 2027 that will be in our budget. We will clear approximately 4 acres of landfill ground that will be future cell construction. So just trying to split up the work where we're not doing clearing and construction all in the same year. That helps us to kind of move some of that soil prior to construction. So I just wanted to give you the hint at some of those long-term plans before we start talking about the budget. You have kind of the whole document with, you know, what we plan to do, our cost estimates that John has worked up for us. So I thought it was time to come back to that, so.
And I just want to make sure that the numbers you quoted on this 1,150,000 of cubic airspace is for the current cell.
So it is not just for the current cell, it's just for the current site in what state we're in.
Okay.
And I think this was calculated, if you see at the top of the paper, this was calculated based on a survey. So they do a flyover every year to figure out how much material was in there as of January 2nd. So that's how much space is left in the landfill as of January 2nd,
In the
2020.
current cell, not
Well-
the landfill as a whole. There's
In the
only 6
current-
years.
Footprint that's already got cells in it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So the slope he's talking about finishing, we're gonna move back on top of the site and come around towards my shop and finish that, and that will be the next area that we
Okay.
finish out. And it won't even, once we get the fluff layer complete and the new cell,
6
we won't
years.
even go down there.
yeah, because prior meetings, we talked about our total capacity and our total timeline being another 60 years or something.
So for the whole site,
Yeah,
yeah, so with the height and slope changes that we're making, we'll probably get to 80 years capacity. But this picture in your packet kind of shows, you know,
Love
you can
pictures.
see the few areas that we've closed out, but we still have capacity to add in the site, all that's constructed. We're still adding fill, so it's in more than one cell.
Okay.
That we're adding in material. Highlighted areas are, you know, future areas that we'll be constructing. And then 4S will be the next cell constructed.
Lee, or Heather, maybe you know this. As we construct individual cells, some of us have talked about, while I'm still here in 60 years when the landfill's full. Come on, Tony. But as we add cells, I'm sure we work our infrastructure so that we can, if we added 40 acres to the east or west or north or south, can we tap into the same infrastructure such as leachate and things like that? Or do we have to create, is each cell totally independent?
No,
Each cell is totally independent, but the pipes will run underground and connect them all.
Okay. So that main,
When we get to the further end, yeah, we may need another permanent leachate pond that we use.
okay. But we always want to think about that because at some point, if that property ever came up for sale. Didn't we as a board try to reach out to the property owner a year or so ago?
Yeah, I think we had,
It's probably been, seems like a year, which means it was 3.
yeah, I think it was a couple of years ago.
It's been at least 2 years.
Okay,
I don't
Yeah,
remember
we
the
got no response at all.
yeah.
But something's for sale there. To the east, right there on 450, or at least it
That's the
was.
one we would be interested in.
By the-
I think it was just that little house in front of us, and it sold, and it's a site now.
Is it? Oh.
Apparently it's I'm not gonna talk about him, but he's a backyard mechanic and the yard is full of cars.
Oh. Haven't noticed that.
Okay,
great, thank you. So, want to move on to the 2027 budget?
Yes. So, In the ones part of the budget, we have kind of started with 2%. That was the recommendation from county council. We do have 3% on hand. If that would so happen to come during part of the process, but right now we just have the 2% in the budget. This budget is a little bit cheap, a little bit, lower in the ones. Remember last year, we lost 2 employees with the commercial cardboard program. So that makes some of our numbers a little bit lower there. In the 2s part of the budget, which would be supplies, we did overall increase everything by 2%. We are feeling the, inflation with supplies. It's just more expensive to get what we need, so we did bump that up. On to the 3s part of the budget, there are a number of changes. We did put in the 2% increase for our legal fees. We've been kind of following the same thing as salary and wages for the past few years. So for our legal services, we'll follow whatever salary and wages go to. The landfill services, we did bump up. We have our out-of-county tonnage. We had a CPI increase of about 3%, and then our compaction bonus does come out of there as well. Our compaction bonus in 2025 was 60,000, and that's determined by that flyover every year. So we don't know what that'll be, but our compaction rates have been really good, so packing more material into the site. Engineering costs are up a little. They will, we have our routine things that will be happening this year, a lot of reporting, a lot of pump maintenance with our leachate. We have in household hazardous waste, we did bump that up. So when we had our number of financial issues, we did cut back on HHW. I did put in our draft of our 5-year plan for us to add back in antifreeze and gas. We get a lot of phone calls. There aren't any local resources for proper disposal of those. Do not want those dumped in our storm sewer system. So we did bump that up to accommodate that. We did have our grinding contract that we rebid. That price did go up, so there's another increase. Comcast under the telephone line, that has been increasing. We are with the county's contract, so I know Scott Mays was looking at doing some renegotiating there, but we did bump up the line to accommodate that. On to the second page of services and other charges. We did have some insurance changes. So we had some just policy changes, different underwriter. So we do have some bump ups there under the insurance liability and workman's comp. As well, we have under QA/QC, we do have the construction coordination and project management that will happen with the clearing and paving work with our engineering firm. So that is bumped up. And then I think the only other line there, well, no, there's a couple more. State operating fees. So with our tonnage increase, we pay 60 cents per ton to the state. So we did bump that up, taking more tonnage, more of that fee. And then Petersville and Harrison convenience stations, that did have a 6% annual increase in that contract. And then that contract does end at the end. So the very end, I think it's December of 2027. So that will be, hopefully renegotiated there at the end of the year. And that is all for the 3s. In the 4s part of the budget are large things that will be happening. We're going to get a new furnace for the center. We have a oil burning furnace that all the motor oil we take in, we use to heat the facility. So we will be buying a new furnace. We also have a new forklift for the recycling center, as well. When we purchased a new forklift for the recycling center, we take the old one from the center and push that to the landfill. And then we will get rid of the forklift at the landfill, through that transition. And then finally, we have the tree clearing and road paving, or 1/3 of the site, paving. As well, we did bump up, closure post-closure up to 150,000. So every year we do a financial test, and that gives us an estimate of how much money we need in closure post-closure. So we did do that in June. We need $7,460,891. In that fund, we have currently $2,918,262. So we still need to continue to fund closure post-closure. So we are putting in $250,000 in there in 27. And then, nope, that's the wrong line. 150,000. And then 250,000 into a non-reverting capital fund. And that fund is pretty new for us. So we just are funding that here in 26. So we want to continue to push funds into the non-reverting capital fund. It's a good long-term savings for us for some of these large capital projects. So that brings us to a total budget of $5,806,748. And I have included as well with those budget numbers, just our stab at revenues versus expenses. So that's a $5.8 million budget. We do, with these revenues, I've kind of estimated low. There's not a lot of guidance out currently. We don't have like an AV for this next budget year. We just got access to the budget application. But if we project out revenue very conservatively, we have $6,535,363. Stumbling over those numbers today. So that does, with our conservative revenue estimates, give us a surplus of $726,615. So, we're pretty happy with the way it fares out, that we do expect the revenue to duly cover our expenses. So that's our budget. I would, in this process, at least want us to start the discussion of our gate rate. So we went for 20 years without changing our gate rate, and that's kind of why we had some of the problems that we did with budgets. So in my mind, when the CPI increases for our landfill services contract, which increased by 3% in 2026, I would recommend that we increase the gate rate to cover for that by 3%. So asking for the gate rate for 2027 to be $41. That would give us approximately 227,000 extra funds with that increase. I did go out and get like just some comparisons. So Medora is $42 per ton, and Decatur Hills is $17 per yard, and $1.10 per ton, which is a little confusing. But I think going to the 41, we are on par with our closest neighbor in Medora.
So I know Tony and I met with Heather and Amber last week on this budget. And we.
Tony was really pleased with having being put on that budget.
Yeah, yeah. So, but we talked through all the differences. Yeah. You know, and 1% difference in the wages should the county make a change to 3% from 2% is about $9,000 as a whole. So that's not a big issue. The other items that were bigger on this, the landfill services going from $2,050,000 to $2.4 million. We looked at that on what was done in 25, and it was really close to $2.2 million. It looks like the pace so far for 26 is about $2.2 million plus. And we don't see anything declining in regards to that. The volume is gonna continue to go up.
And that CPI, so we do that calculation based on a December index. And then that is calculated kind of the following winter. And then that is instituted in April. So, you know, we presume inflation's probably gonna be where it is, and we'll probably have a CPI increase, but it's hard to forecast exactly what that's going to be.
So that basically is that big jump there. And then you have all the associated costs in the threes with that increase in volume. So it all made sense to us when we talked it through line by line. And we were pretty comfortable with it. And then seeing that we still project a $700,000 surplus, it makes us feel like we're able to handle all of this, and we're in a good spot. There's no crunching, nail biting concerns at this, so. Yeah.
Heather, one question I had, and I don't think we asked it at our budget meeting, but in raising the gate fee to $41 as you recommend, was that assumed in the budget? Or was that?
No, so if
What
you.
would that do to the budget if we raised it $41?
It
So,
would be the extra 227,000.
yeah. So on the revenue and expenses sheet, you can see, under the revenues that I use the $39 per ton, for our projected landfill revenue. So that should increase our landfill revenue by about $227,000.
So about 227,000.
Yeah.
So if the budget goes through as is and the gate fee increases, we're looking at a potential budget surplus of nearly $1 million.
Potentially.
And to me, that's excessive to have that much over and above what we're calling for as our needs. So why would we pass a budget and increase the gate fee looking for that sort of an increase?
Yeah, so there's some of this that is like a magic 8-ball to me.
No, I know, we don't have the
So,
AV yet, we don't
yeah.
have the specific numbers that we use to budget, but you're using your best experience, and you've done this for a few years now.
Yeah.
What would we do with $1 million above requested budget?
Well, I mean, I think we know we have some deficiencies in closure post-closure. We know that we haven't been ever really saving for capital expenses. That's why we established the non-reverting capital fund. You know, I think those are ways for us to save that we maybe haven't capitalized on. So, you know, I understand, you know, if you have this much and you're asking for more, you know, I don't know that we have a really good study on our end of where our property tax revenue is going. And that's about half of our budget. I did put in pretty much the same, property tax revenue for this year. For 27 is 26, which I don't have a way to calculate, but I'm presuming over time, we're gonna have less and less of that. So we're going to have to, long-term, not maybe in this budget, but long-term, have to shift, where our revenues are coming from. And I guess I just don't wanna see us in the place where, we went for too many years without changing that gate rate, when that's a good portion of our revenue.
No, that's fair. All
So-
these points are fair.
Yeah.
I think my suggestion would be to wait until after the budget is set to look at the gate.
Well,
Tony,
we can't do that.
keep in mind,
Oh, you're gonna be impacted.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
city's gonna be impacted. I need to know now.
Yeah, and Brian has already been
I guess, yeah, you
asking.
gotta say for budgetary purposes.
Could I interject?
Sure.
Is there any way that, say we're looking at that kind of a surplus next year, can we, say pull 200,000 out and saving toward that cell construction in
Well,
2030? Is that
so-
permissible?
Well, we have that non-reverting capital fund, and that is kind of our capital savings. So, we could always take that fund and put more money in there. This 2026 is the first year we have funded it. So,
how
we're
much are we putting in there?
200,000 this year, and we're planning for 250,000 in 2027. We could change those numbers. We could.
I will guarantee you, and I don't know if Steve would agree, but when we get ready to construct that next cell, we won't get it constructed for 600,000 or 700,000 like we have the last two cells.
Probably not.
It will be closer to 900. Huh?
Can somebody wake that guy up?
So we do have, in the long-term landfill plan, we do have, our best guess, and it's gonna be over $1 million for, that's.
It is.
That was
You
closure.
have- Not a million.
Yeah, so if you look in that capital plan,
Yeah,
the cell construction, I'm looking at the wrong number. What?
well, you got
Looking
me
at-
5, actually.
1.5 for construction, 35 for engineering, 125,000 for CQA.
So it's,
So that's our best guess.
it's gonna take a ton of money,
Yes,
2030.
correct. Yep, correct.
Well,
And then you gotta do.
But I see your point. I mean,
Well, the other option, I mean, our two main sources of revenue are gate fees and then property taxes.
right.
I don't like operating the landfill where we're the cheapest tipping fee around. We were for a long time. We ought to stay competitive with other landfills. So if we're gonna reduce something, I would look at reducing the property taxes.
So. could
Now,
I-
that's a whole discussion about how that,
What's the impact on the city with that increase?
So,
Well, it'll be 3% more.
I don't know what the.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know that we have
is it
like
$1 a ton increase, is that what you said?
Two.
$2.
$2,
Yeah,
be about $40,000.
I don't know how much tonnage the city brings
I
us.
think they bring
Least
us
half.
20,000
Say, yeah,
tons
so,
a year.
you know, it's easier for us budgeting wise.
We do
if it's
85,000
steady kind
tons
of
a year,
every
so
year it's an
Rumpke
increase
brings
rather
us
than
half
every
of that.
two, right?
Fair
So you did, if we
City brings
went up
about
to $40
$40, I think.
in 2026, 7, and then 41 the next year.
the problem is
My-
that CPI changes every year for us,
Right.
every year.
My biggest concern is that in our budget, we're missing something. We talked about in our meeting last week or the week before, whatever it was, how and Michael alluded to it earlier, how our landfill services expense in 2025 ended up being almost 700,000 higher than we had budgeted for.
Yeah, so we made those changes
And-
in
but-
2025, late in the year, that were not captured in the budget.
And so my big concern is, are we hedging for something like that? Are we, you know, are we? And I feel like we are, we're capturing everything, and that was an outlier. I feel like that's true.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's more closely budgeted to what it is now. I struggle with asking for more than we're gonna use. And I understand the reasoning for it.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to me that the biggest user pay the biggest fee. No offense.
No, I get.
And so I don't want to be in the habit of asking for more than we're going to use.
Yeah.
But I understand the reason. So it's just a large number to me. It's not $50,000. It's not $100,000. It's potentially $1 million over our budgeted request. So,
Heather, is there a drop dead day, and I know there is, on the tax rate?
The tax rate, we
Yeah,
would
what
have
we
to.
decide as a board, what we decide the tax rate's gonna be for the year.
So it'd be pretty quickly, because we will be meeting with our rep and entering our budget. And that pretty much on our end has to be all finalized and in the system prior to September 1.
have
So
you gotten access to the new system yet?
we did just what.
They have a
in
new
last
budgeting
week.
system for the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
got access to it last week.
Our tax rate is currently at the 0.0282. It is lower than what we were trying to get to a few years ago. We were not able to have a good communication with our budget rep to get it to what we had. In past, years, we were trying to get it to the 0.0350. We have not been able to get it, so it is lower, than what we thought it would be in the rate.
That's fine, because we don't need it.
Yeah, and I think that's okay. But we know that will be declining just through this process. So I would be hesitant to want to back down the rate more, because I don't have a clear understanding of how all of the property tax changes are hitting us. But we know we're going to get less funds. And the number I put in the estimated revenue may not be the right number. It might be less that we're actually getting from property tax
Yeah,
revenue.
The estimate that I saw was about a 10%, maybe a little bit less than 10% decline on the property tax revenue side
In 1 year?
in 1 year, because of the SBA one and all the new property tax changes. So, and then that, then the following year, there's less again. There's like another 5% less.
Somebody got a set of dice.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the way I feel.
So I think at the same time the assessed value is going up, there's all these other deductions in there that are gonna back the property tax number back down. And having the $700,000 cushion, I think we're in a good spot where we are right now. The only, one of the things I remember you talking about last week was if Rumpke increases their rate as to what we are charging, or what they charge us, shouldn't we increase the corresponding rate as to what we charge them for the out of county? Right, to keep those in, some equal balance. Now, at the same time, it also goes back and hits the city at the same
Can
time.
we charge two different rates for out of county and county? It always goes back to, I know, but a city resident is paying the solid
Property
waste
taxes
tax
along with-
and then they're paying the city taxes to pay for having their trash taken care of. And so, they're paying twice in a sense. And then, so for out of county should pay more than the city resident, i.e. through the city, for using the landfill. Yeah. And I know that would be almost impossible to keep track of, but. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're seeing a number for out of county now in terms of volume.
Yeah.
Is it legal, is it allowable to charge a separate rate for out of county?
Yeah, but the out of county is a very, very
Very small.
minuscule amount. I mean, we're talking 2,000 tons on our 90,000 ton.
Okay. But
Yeah, it's not even, it would be more trouble than it'd be worth.
Okay.
The out of county.
Yeah, and we're relying on self-reporting for out of county. So we don't have a mechanism to know that it's out of county or that it's in county.
And technically, some of that out of county is really in county, but we class it as out of county.
Yeah, the Edinburgh
Yeah,
stuff
part of
really
Edinburgh
are
is in
the
Bartholomew County.
fair out.
So when do we meet next?
We meet in July.
So I would ask that piece be tabled. Let me go back and look at numbers and really see what the effect is gonna be at the city. And.
$2 would be about 40 grand
Right.
for you
Um,
guys.
So, and then, in because it's not gonna change the expenditure piece, right? So.
No.
From your perspective of budget, you can have everything ready. Nothing will change except you would just be bumping up the revenue, basically.
Well, we don't input the revenue into the budget process.
Okay, so.
So, but I know you're not the only one that usually asks about the, gate rate. Rumpke does usually ask about the gate rate too, so, we don't have to make a decision today for me, but some of our partners would be interested in knowing that sooner than later.
Yeah, so what we're looking at today is
Right, so
This.
nothing would change if the gate fee went up.
Not in expenditures, so.
and my understanding is that, when it comes to the post-closure or some future expenditure, we always have the rainy day fund, even though it's rather small at the moment. But also the general fund that is accumulated dollars over time. We would just have to make an allocation out of that general fund. And that's sitting at
So
$4
if we're
million.
gonna spend more, we would have to go through the process of getting additional appropriation
Right,
approved.
we'd have to do an appropriation out of the general fund, where we've got almost $4 million sitting there. So,
Let me make a comment. I've kind of been a post-closure guru for the last 10 or 15, 20 years, looking at the numbers. One of the fundamental principles I think to think about is there's our gate rate for 2027, 2026, whatever. Does that gate rate create enough income that we can put a post-closure fund that the users during that given year are contributing to closure of the landfill for 25 or 30 years? Or if we defer closure, post-closure expenses, we're gonna be asking 2030 residents, 2035 residents. It's gonna have to be paid out somebody that didn't use it during this year. So the use this year, the amount of landfill that we need to close, the people using it this year, have they contributed significantly enough to closing that where their trash is at? So we put it off, we're gonna ask the taxpayers in 2035 to pay for people's use in 2026, 2027. That's kind of general principle of post-closure. It's easy to put it off. And so it's deferring an expense to a future tax base, future consumer, as opposed to those who are using it today. That's always been, and that's all I'll say. I've always been the post-closure guy. I say, we're short. And I think that John he would tell you we're getting shorter every year. Even though our money's going up, the closure expenses are going up too.
Well, let's not not completely true.
Okay.
Because, so the expenses for landfill one in Petersville, those are declining because it's getting to,
Yeah,
in essence, the end
right.
of post-closure. We'll find out someday if that's realistic, to say that we're out of post-closure. But that one is definitely declining. The CD site and the landfill for closure and post-closure, no, those are not declining because we still haven't, both of those sites developed it all. We have at the landfill, at landfill two, we have closed some areas. So, maybe it's declined a little, but it's overall increasing because we're still developing the site. So those, in essence, wouldn't be getting cheaper.
So I think, what we have built into the budget with the post-closure numbers is an intentional number of 150,000, right? But we also have the option of appropriating more
We could.
out of the general fund at the end of the year toward that and setting that aside. My understanding is that the state with this SB1 is also trying to crack down on any municipality or any taxing authority just accumulating cash, and just holding it. So, I don't know what their perception of an appropriate cushion is. But I don't want to get to the point to where they come in and say, oh, well, you've got too much money. You've got to now have a plan to use it. I would rather just not be on their radar at all. So,
Yeah.
we can appropriate money into a post-closure and we still have theoretical control of that. We can then appropriate it back out.
I don't think that's accurate.
No?
I
Okay.
think Once it goes to post-closure, it's there.
Okay, so it's
That's why we open a non-diverting.
a non-reverting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think
all right.
once, I would check to see, but my understanding, it goes to the post-closure fund, it is designated, now we could be paying Petersville bills we doing, and then we'd be
Okay.
paying that.
Okay.
Or as we close the
But we- yeah,
landfill
we can do that.
portions, we could use the
But we
funds.
can't
out
slide
those-
that back in the general budget.
Okay.
No.
So we want to be careful, I guess, about appropriating monies for that, but it is available.
How do you feel about raising our amount in post-closure? 150,000. What if we raise it to 250?
Good.
I mean, just having been lectured by our attorney.
Well, and we know via the financial test, there is a need for more money in post-closure.
No, and we all know that. So let's take that step over the next 10 years. That's equates to probably
$2 million.
1.1 million. Keep interest in it. Over 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 years, that's a big difference on the closing end.
I would feel more comfortable adding, knowing, and again, we don't have the assessed values yet. We don't have the max levy yet, I don't think, and so,
We do not.
at this point, some really good guesses. But I agree. I think if we're looking at legitimate surplus,
Let's change it.
then let's add 100,000 to the post-closure line.
And then in tough years, we can pull it out, drop back. If you,
I mean, you could not do it,
but if you have to, you have to.
In theory, if you're saying that there's a surplus of 726,000, you can put it into any line item you want to. Like, you can put 500,000 in the closure, post-closure, but you don't move it until you know at the end of the year that you have 500,000 and then you move it, right? And then
Correct,
once you
yes,
move it,
yeah. I mean, you could say, well, let's budget 200,000 post-closure, we have a tough year, you don't put anything in it.
Yeah.
You have to, at the end of the year, I think the board just needs to look, okay, here's where we're at, here's where we're surplus, how much do you want to put in post-closure? Or how much will it carry over? That's kind of the question. Read the tea leaves, what 2027 is gonna be, and, but we just need, my mindset needs to be that we're short, what, 5 million now?
And
If
people
we
will
close
post
today,
Yeah, right.
Yes, that's if we closed everything
Right.
today.
But I'm saying, you know, that at some point, we've got to get that number up. And just because you budget 200 doesn't mean you have to put it in there. You can put it in the other category.
So when do we anticipate needing to use it?
Well, we could be using it now at Petersville. If we had a really tough financial year, and we didn't have the general funds to spend the repairs we've been doing at Petersville, we could pull it out of the post-closure funds.
Yeah, or any of the closure work we're doing
Right.
at the current landfill, we could use those funds.
So the 7 million,
Oh.
7 million estimate, that's if we closed everything today.
today.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's unrealistic. I mean,
it is
it's-
unrealistic.
Yeah, I mean, we're chasing a number that,
It's like future pension obligations.
right.
Yeah,
And-
that's good.
So we're trying to save toward that.
And I don't disagree with that at all, but it's unrealistic to say we're gonna need $7 million, because if we close every cell, like, we don't have a landfill.
You're right.
So,
Well, that's for the next 35 years too.
right, but we should be putting money aside for 35.
Yeah, but
years, right? So,
there's a lot of expenses on a closed site.
Yeah, and then
A lot.
when everything's closed, you won't have anything coming in via gate rate unless you have another site.
no, I get that, unless we're getting out of the landfill business,
Yes,
we're not gonna close everything.
Why-
So what do we need to do as far as the budget goes? And, Mary's asked to table the request for the,
Right. So, if we're gonna make the change to a $250,000 closure, post-closure
yes, we
line,
can.
We can do that.
so we need a motion,
I'll make
So-
it.
the budget with the $100,000 adjustment.
I would also say then, I would bump up the non-reverting capital fund, if you're sitting on a 700,000 potential. Potential, just put in 300, what have you got, 250, put in 300,000, but you don't, it's there, you don't move it until at the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
Because I think then you can go to the public and say, we're saving for the future.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If we need it this year, right? I mean, I agree with you, property taxes, we don't know. And, they're rumbling now about this in the governor's office and state legislature about eliminating property taxes, going totally to sales. I don't know what that would do. But I mean, I never thought that we would get to where we're at now with property taxes and local income tax. I don't know where that's gonna go.
Yeah.
2028.
Okay, great. So we have a motion with the $100,000 post-closure and $50,000
I will include
capital.
her suggestion as well in my motion.
Mr. Lennon makes a
Second.
motion, Mr. London seconds.
fine,
Further,
fine,
or Mr. Kleinhen seconds.
don't insult the poor man.
Any further discussions on the budget for 2027?
And we will, in our July meeting, we can still talk about the gate rate
Yes,
and the tax rate if we want to go there.
yes. We will
We'll-
put
we'll
both
know
of
more.
those on the agenda, and yep, we'll have more information.
We should know the AV by then.
I would
I'm
hope
like
so.
Larry, I don't want to be the cheapest gate in town. But if it make it easier on the city to just increase the gate rate $1 instead of $2, leave the tax rate the same. I could lean that way, but again, the budget's your best guess estimate right now.
Without
And
the,
I'm afraid that by July, we're not gonna know much difference. Because we don't know what those people in Indianapolis,
Well, they don't know either.
I don't think they know either.
No, they,
And they probably aren't gonna do anything here in the next 3 months. They won't do anything till after the November election.
But what we might have some numbers from the Department of Revenue.
Yeah.
The income tax piece, and then.
Assessed value.
Yeah, and we will have our meeting with our DLGF rep prior to the July board meeting. So we should have you know, a little, couple hints at least into the process, so.
Call for the question.
So we have a second motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Have a budget in place. Item number 6, CAC update, CAC member.
So none of them are here.
Okay.
I will let you know that they are trying to rebuild that committee. They do not have a chairperson and they have little direction of where they are going. So they will be meeting, August 12th. So hopefully a little more direction, and they need another member. I think we're putting feelers out for that too, but that's where that committee is currently at. Yep, you're
I wasn't at last meeting just
Yeah.
because I was out of town, but.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah,
You got anything to say?
I didn't figure you didn't have any updates, so.
No, I wasn't here, that's why.
Yeah.
I didn't.
CAC next meeting is scheduled for August 12th, for anybody interested in that. Any other comments from the general public?
I have one. With the out of county, I know you guys touched on it quite a bit here lately. I would like to word that different in the permit, if I'm saying this right,
And the contract.
and the contract. But it gives us a certain number per month. And it would almost be better if it was an annual, like Atterbury right now is packed with soldiers. In the winter, there's nothing there. So when they're heaviest in the summer, so it requires more pickups. So we can't very well not service them in the winter. You know what I'm saying? We get it the winter, which there's nothing, in which to my understanding, they are in Bartholomew County anyways, so we're counted as out of county, but I think over 80% of it's Bartholomew County. And just to, like he worded, to keep IDAM off our radar, if we word it different, then we do, it don't even have to be in the permit. It's more of a gentleman's agreement of the out of county that we're bringing you anyways.
Heather, are you on the same page with Lee on that item?
I can understand. We have it in both our contract with Rumpke and with our permit that it is 2,000 tons per month plus the,
Plus 3%.
yeah, the 3%.
So it's 2,060, it's around 25,000 a year, annual.
Yeah.
That's minus Edinburgh, what was already approved.
Yes.
So,
correct.
like Camp Atterbury is technically,
I mean, those are good points. We don't really speak the language as well because we're not in the weeds on the details.
Yeah,
Work it out with Lee.
okay,
I'm okay. Work it out to where we don't want to convolute our permit, but we don't want to complicate the permitting process by being in, if we pick up 4,000 tons of trash, July, August, and September,
Yeah.
but only 1,000 in January, February, we're in violation half the year.
Yeah.
So figure out a way to
okay.
do it right. Do you guys agree with that?
Was there a way to just say per year?
Yeah, I think we could just
That's what
change
he
it to the,
suggested.
Yeah.
the annual amount instead of the monthly amount.
yeah. And like I said, it can be, it is in our contract,
It
but
is.
it doesn't need to be in the state's contract. And John, are you on here?
No, I don't think he is.
He was earlier.
He
Yes,
was
he's
on there.
He's on there.
Cause he texted me, but it don't need to be in the.
Yeah, I'm on here, guys. Sorry.
Just figure it out. I think we're okay, as a board, I mean, I can't speak for the board, but we're okay. We don't wanna be at odds with the state on our permit.
No, we don't.
So don't word it in such a way that puts us at odds half the year.
No, I think that's something we can, I mean, it's not changing what we're accepting, it's just changing the way it is written.
Right. or the busy seasons that affects that.
The
Yeah.
timing of it.
Just work it out and then let us know what you come up with, Heather.
Okay.
I'm good with that, if you guys are good with that.
Okay, thank you.
Good point to bring up.
That'll allow you more flexibility.
Yeah, like I said, it's great that if we can consider Atterbury, Bartholomew County, because it is.
Yeah, the problem is though, Atterbury doesn't pay property
Okay, anything else from our friends? Okay, next meeting is scheduled for July 23rd. Yeah. Anything else?
I think the new lady needs to bring donuts or something.
The guest needs to bring donuts. Okay.
She must have got, she must not have got that memo letter.
I wasn't passed along that
Now, I
message.
remember in the day, Carl, we used to get donuts.
Yeah.
Every meeting.
So we have a motion to adjourn by Mrs. Fredon,
So, second.
Mr. London second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Finished. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not mad about donuts.
You don't need anybody else?
I don't know. Earl need to sign the minutes? Earl, did you sign the
You
minutes?
don't want to take all your papers with you?
You're right. You need to study. I need to know that.
Thanks, Larry. Yeah, I think all it is just, we should have used yearly instead of monthly.
Good. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, and our current landfill inspector is a very
Oh. yeah.
dot the I across the T
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
He's very into the details.
Yeah.